Howdy. Howdy. I am just leaving the symphony. Bye, see you later. I'm just leaving Nashville Symphony. Thank you. And do you want to see? Oh, welcome to Diaspora of Love. We are in downtown Nash Vegas. You want to see? Usually it is absolute debauchery down here, but it is a Wednesday night. So you can see up there, that is usually blasting, and it is absolutely not the city of music. It is the city of cacophony. But right now, it is not. It's a little early. Oh. Somebody is singing the Rockets' Red Glare. Welcome. I am Saralina Love, your hostess. Yeah, so I just am coming out of the Nashville Symphony, Nash Vegas, and I thought I would give you a little rundown, up, down, whatever. I just saw the Final Fantasy Symphony production of the video game, and I was hesitant to go, almost canceled it. I committed to going to, oh, look at this gorgeous, beautiful foyer. Check that out. Pretty, pretty. Committed to going to some symphonies. My mom helped establish a symphony in 1953, and she was an opera singer and in New York City, and I took care of her for 10 years, 24/7. She was amazing, a redhead, gorgeous, phenomenal human being. I think I am going to take the stairs. I'm going to take the stairs. Yes, taking the stairs. And, yeah, and let's see, service entrance. I think this is the stairs. Let's see, yeah, this is the stairs. Here we go. The headset and sing. Should I sing for you? Maybe. Let's see. Sorry. Thank you for listening. Ooh. That brought me to tears a little bit. Putting my headset on as we speak so you can hear me. I can hear myself. Here we go. There we go. Yay. Stairway Serenade. Level between 1 and 2. At the Pinnacle parking lot. Across from the Nashville Symphony. Little extemporaneousness. All right, here we go. So that was my not final fantasy. Well, I'll take this off. Oh, it's gonna be the parking lot, I call this. After the symphony, they've got this system where to get out of the parking lot. You wait while everybody goes out before you. So the higher you up, the longer you wait, because they keep letting all the people in who just are getting to their car. So I literally wait an hour just to get out of the parking lot. It's not a great system. Oh. I keep saying, why did people put this some $1 billion symphony hall in, see, they just sit there. They just move by the inch. But it's nice. I made a commitment to come to the symphony on what is it? On January 6th, Epiphany, in honor of my mom, which I was telling you about her, the magnificent Saint Tekla, magnificent redhead, glorious, petite force of nature, powerhouse, spitfire, all the things that people called her. I used to call her leprechaun, but I don't think she liked that. I didn't really call her that very often. I didn't really call her that to her. More so, I would call her that to other people a little bit. Because she was like this tiny little redhead. But really, with all due respect, she was just a queen and a fairy and a beautiful, holy soul. And just like a Merida, you know, from just like a, I'm gonna go to the trash can to put my little boxes away. Food that I didn't finish. So she was truly, she was a little shorter than me. She was, but she was like 5'3" and a half, 5'3", something like that, and shrinking as you get older. And she was literally moved mountains, which occasionally I have done by sheer inspiration, of course. It's the only way those things happen, you know, by absolute grace and inspiration. But she just did it all the time. She was inspired all the time. She was, you know, opera singers are powerful presences. They have a big vehicle bringing spirit through their soul, their mind, their heart, and their body. And though they be small, sometimes you don't have to be like, you know, the big, heavy opera singers to be, let's see, I can turn the car on. Oh, let's see. To be, I guess it's, the seat is all the way down. To be, you know, the force of nature. You can be very, very small, as we know, and have a voice of great power and inspiration. Whoops. Right? We can have, okay, take these glasses off. So she was one of those people, and just so beautiful, her soul, her spirit. She grew up Quaker and Christian Science, and which is an odd one. They were in a lot of denial in one hand, but also very connected to, you know, Quakers were all about being still, and there wasn't about preaching, and it was about being in the stillness. Their services, so to speak, their Sunday services, and you only spoke when you were inspired, and then you gave a message. And my mom used to sing, and in the services, and you only did that when you were moved, authentically moved. So it was teaching the congregants, the populace, the Quaker society, to literally tune in to inspiration and to respect and honor that voice, that still small voice, that flow, that river of light, of life, of grace overcoming you and training you to be attuned and to surrender and open and connect and deepen to the silence and the stillness within your being, and to simplify and to to the allness and the emptiness, and to surrendering to the all that is, and the nothingness and the beauty, and to love and being an instrument of and not of the ego, you know, not coming from, oh, I'm going to affect people, I'm going to make a statement, I'm going to, my ego is going to have this power that touches people and makes them feel great, and they're going to worship me, kind of thing, right? And so it wasn't like that, which is so much of what things teach us, is the aggrandizement and the sort of the lure and bait of having influence over people in a way to manipulate and to achieve adulation, self-adulation, rather than inspiring people, and through one's own inspiration, and spiritus, which means to breathe the breath of God, in spiros and spiritos, to be receive spirit, right, is the Greek. In spiritus is through spirit, from spirit. Enthusiasm, and theos, is from God, through God. So inspiration and theos, enthusiasm, same meaning, through the divine, through the source of all life, through the source of all creation. You know, we call theos God, inspiration, creation, the source of life, the source of existence. It's all the different words. You want to call it what you will. It means the same thing, of course, unless it doesn't. Unless it means some sort of power trip, energy, tyrannical, control freak entity, then that is not that's not the same thing. And people can use the same word and fact and mean something very different. So the source of all creation is zero control, and yet there's structure in existence. There's masculine and feminine, there's form and spirit, and there is light and substance. There is matter, muck, mother, and there is the electrical force that enlivens and that brings life to this, opens the seed, that fire that cracks the husk of the seed, and it responds to that electrical pulse, and it shimmers into a conversation. It shimmers into a response, a call and a response, into a +1 and a -1 from the zero, from the negative, not the negative, from the zero, emptiness, from the void, the blackness, the nothingness, and it shimmers into somethingness out of nothingness, from the nothing, the center of the pure potentiality that is before anything was, before sound, before consciousness, before shape, before time, before space, before dimension, the dimensionlessness. So, and it shimmers from that nothingness, and that lacking of polaritilessness, dualitylessness, the oneness that is no-ness, that is nothingness. So you can't have, if you have something, then you have duality. To have something, you must have a +1 and a -1. You must have just a fraction of a hair in the positive, and a fraction of the hair equally in the negative. You know, the beginning of the smallest separation from unity. And then you've got a pulsation, a river, a current, a vibration, a sound, a something. You have a something. Yes. You have a perception. You have a perceiver, perceiving. itself as an opposite. You have a left and a right, up and a down, positive and negative, masculine and feminine, yin and a yang. You have duality. You have time. You have space. You have awareness. You have pulsation. And then it expands, and multiplies continuously. Yes. And that is what is creation. That is what's happening in us and all around us in the cosmos. And yet, we contain the allness, the nothingness, the stillness, the pure potentiality, the source before anything was or is or will be. Because that is what enlivens us, that which is us. Which some people don't like that kind of, I just opened my door for a second to turn my front lights out. So I'm enjoying talking to you all while I wait for the cars to go, which I think I can see from up above. You want to see? I can see the traffic down below. Can you see it down there? It's not too bad. It's slow going. Shot. Slow going, but I think it's largely cleared out up here for whatever reason, because it is early Wednesday. It started at 7:30 instead of 8, and it's not a Friday or Saturday night or even Thursday night. So we don't have the fierce tourism of people in line to go into hundreds of venue downtown, and all their vehicles parked in all the parking lots and getting out on these tiny little two-lane streets with lights everywhere, all blocking everything up. So we don't have that tonight. So I think actually the parking lot is cleared out by now. And I'm going to keep talking to you if you like, sharing with you. So there you have it. There's some cosmic creation story for you, which you can really enjoy more in my book, come to think of it, called The Eternal Rose, a lullaby of love for all ages. And I think I have about 150 copies left. That's all, of full color copies of this book. And it is not going to be reprinted this way anymore. So go to sarahlenalove.com and send me a note if you want it signed and autographed for you, and I will send you a special invoice for that. I will do a free autograph for anybody who sends me a message on my contact page and just say that you listened to this video, Diaspora of Love, with Sarah Lena Love, obviously, on the Nashville Symphony in downtown Nashville, and that you would like an autographed copy. You can have just my signature, or I can autograph it to whomever you want, and you can purchase multiple copies. And it's $37.97, $37.97, and it's full color with beautiful images of all kinds of beauty, from close-up of petals and roses and lotus and supernova, even artist renditions, and the great southwest orchards and the moon, and all kinds of like award-winning photographs. So go there. It's called The Eternal Rose. And then I also have very few copies. I think I have maybe 30 copies left, maybe less, of my book with my CD any other new copies won't have the CD with it. The Search for the Beloved. It's a small keepsake book, very beautiful, printed at a local, in small print house in Richmond, Virginia. And it's the 2015 20-year anniversary edition. Let's see, was it 20-year? 15-year anniversary edition. I just have 30 left or so, maybe less, of that. And when I reprint those, they won't have the CD and they won't look the same. I don't know if they'll have any pictures. I don't know if I'll be printing it at all, actually. Don't know. So you can request that, The Search for the Beloved. And I can dedicate it to whomever you like as well. All right. And what else? Yeah, so I came downtown. This is I think my third symphony this month in January, in dedication to my beautiful opera singing mom, who gave 40 years of her life to the Richmond Symphony, to develop the Richmond Symphony. She wrote all the commercials, the spots, produced them, directed them, did the voiceover work. She directed all the musicians and the camera crew for all the spots for 40 years. And she wrote the promo ads, the Viva la Symphonie, and all the sort of catchphrases for the campaigns. And just extraordinary woman, truly heroic figure, truly. And she changed thousands and thousands of people's lives, because, and now 1953, 70 years later, literally 70 years later, isn't that extraordinary? It's 2023, and she started it with two other people in 1953. Two people were very, very wealthy, and my mom and dad had nothing when she married my dad and moved down to Richmond, Virginia, where there was no symphony in the capital city, as she used to say, and she was shocked, the capital of the South, and there was no symphony or opera house. You know, there were musicians, but there was no official symphony. So she endeavored to do that, and she actually found the first permanent conductor by calling her friend Leonard Bernstein in I think 1970. Took them that long to find a permanent. They had some other, other conductors over the years, but it wasn't like an established permanent conductor, really, if I understand that correctly. And so she found the French conductor who was 18 at the time, he started with Leonard Bernstein when he was 18, Jacques Outman. And so he became that everybody had different regions in the symphony and the committee, and they were searching in different parts of the country for a conductor. And my mom found Jacques in the northeast in New York, and that's the one that they all settled on and agreed on, with Jacques Outman from France. And so, and he had his first hamburger with my dad. I heard lots of amazing stories from Jacques. When I saw him again with my mother in the last, 15 years, when I took care of her, she was elderly. And he told some great stories about my dad and my mom. And my dad took him flying. My dad used to fly. He had an airplane, and he flew as a business, as a pilot for his father, who had an engineering manufacturing firm. He called it a job shop. That's what he called it. And he flew all over the country to meet with business people and present their job shop, their company, to manufacture for all kinds of businesses, large and small. And my grandpapa, my papa, was an inventor. He invented machinery. Starting in 7th grade, I started inventing machinery in his garage when he was 7th grade, long time ago, in the early teens. Let's see, what year would he have been born? I think he was born in the 1800s, but I'm not really sure exactly what date, maybe 1890? That sounds possibly about right. Yeah, in 1897 maybe. So anyway, so my dad took Jacques on his first like small airplane and flight, and I think they flew. I think he told me they flew to Baltimore and had a hamburger. They flew to Baltimore and had a hamburger from Richmond, Virginia. Hamburger. He had his first hamburger in the, like 71 when he became the conductor, permanent conductor of Richmond Symphony. So anyway, there's lots of other stories that I can share. It's really fun. So yes, so I was inspired. It's been a challenging time being without my mom, a time of great grief and loss and truly agony. I was with her 24/7 and saw everything she went through. And I did help her live to 97 years young and got her off of all the drugs that other people had her on. And in my humble opinion, we're trying to poison her, get rid of her. And she didn't want to be on any of them, so I helped her. And I made incredible food for her, and I did body work, and I did all kinds of things and helped her emotionally to release the pain and the agony and the emotions that she was holding so she could be free. And I just loved her. I just loved her purely with all of my being. And then the rest was up to her soul, to decide whether she wanted to stay here and get well and be well and live, and if she had something to live for, without my dad and with the betrayal of other people who were closest to her as well. And she chose to live, and there were many, many harrowing things that we went through. Harrowing things. It was really a war of epic war that just didn't end for 10 years. But it was very hard to see her suffering, but also we had so much beauty and adventure and joy and fellowship of truly remarkable people, and many people loved her. And I helped her have as much joy as I could possibly do, even though I couldn't solve the truly tragic problems that were plaguing us, that were trying to tear us both down, especially her and me too. But her, in order to, so in honor of her, gosh, 4 years later, it was 2018 in November, she liberated herself from her body and ascended, as I like to say, into heaven, meaning ascended into, beyond this earth and into her spirit and realm, whatever you want to call that, and back to the source of all, the source, the beginning, source of life. And wherever she is, wherever her soul is in the mystery. And so January 6th was Epiphany, is Epiphany every year, and 12th day of Christmas, which was a great tradition in our family and in her family, her lineage, for generations and generations back. So the Germanic culture really is where we get Germanic and also the Nordic cultures, but especially the German culture, where we get a lot of our so-called Christmas traditions from. So from the decorations to many, many things, even the church things and all of these things. It's a blend of the old Saturnalia, before the Common Era, what people call the pagan rituals, but it's really much deeper and more interesting than that. You know, it's the solstice is the 22nd or the 21st of December, and so that is when the sun in the northern hemisphere becomes the shortest day and the longest night. And then after that day that we call the solstice day, although solstice means to be still in Latin, solstare, it means the sun is still. So we call it still because for 3 days after that solstice day, the shortest day and the longest night, the sun appears to hang in one place, and it doesn't truly begin to rise on the horizon until after those 3 days. So that's where we get this 3 days, dined 3 days from in the story books of what we call religions, and these sort of co-opted, coagulated, and plagiarized books that are sadly reused for propaganda to mind control humanity, and they co-opt all the beauty, and they co-opt all the spiritual inspiration, the poetry, the wisdom of the ages, and then they coagulate it into this book of control, and that we call religions. And then people are baited and lured by the shine of what is this true spirit and true inspiration, and then it is colored and distorted by control and darkness and malicious mind control and great negativity, and really turns people away from their unlimited spirit, which a lot of people that are in religious mind control don't understand yet. But once they get out, they start to feel it, and then, you know, something, their soul, one's soul has to inspire one to be free and to realize that you're not free and to have the courage to see through the veil of mind control propaganda. You have to be very courageous to break through and shatter the belonging, because religion is there to, it also lures you, the most profound longing that we all have, the deepest, most fundamental longing that we have is to belong, to belong. And so these religions and churches, we don't survive. I mean, we can sort of in this day and age, but primally, as a primal being and early creature, we can't survive without belonging, emotionally, psychologically, or physically. Spiritually, we can because we connect to the source, but that's not why we're here on this earth. We are not here on this earth to be here alone. We are here, we've shown up amongst the many to experience the many, to experience diversity and community and otherness. If we wanted to be alone, we would just stay out of form. So we have entered, the spirit has entered form in order to experience duality and manyness, otherness, multiplication of the oneness, and the diversity and the uniqueness of the otherness, the infinite variety of personality, of color, shape, form, mind, heart, body, soul, expressions. It's just like unlimited uniqueness. Every fingerprint is unique. Every butterfly, every snowflake, every rock, every hair, every facial feature. Twins are never the same. Every genetic pattern is unique. There is no one the same. There is no soul that is the same. Isn't that wild? Spirit, love is oneness. Love is always love. We know when we feel love, right? We know. We know it's always the same when we feel love. And yet, we pick one to love, or maybe many, or some, or one, or none. Maybe we never felt that, truly. To surrender, to feel safe, Maybe some of us have been conditioned away from surrendering to love, right? To receiving, to feeling safe, to receive love and to give love, to let go of control. Love is letting go of control. And the way to let go of control, you have to feel safe, right? We have to feel safe to let go of control and to receive love. And that's why hate is the opposite of love, because hate is the ultimate feeling of not being safe, feeling safe. And so it's the opposite of love, because when we don't feel safe, we close up, we shrink, we compartmentalize, and we become a box, we become angular, we become shrouded and compacted, hard, instead of luminous, lucid, transparent, and expansive, expanding, floral, fragrant, emanating, right? Emanations of the essence of the heart, unfurling, a never-ending blossoming flower of the heart, right? That's what love is. And then hate is opposite. It's the locking down of the petals and the closing of the bud, tighter and tighter and tighter, until it becomes angular and metallic, and then it lashes out in that distortion to destroy, as a form of protection. Hate and violence is trying to protect one from actually feeling very, very sad. These are the secrets that I work with people. So hate and anger is a protection of sorrow and fear and deep pain of unworthiness and deep pain of feeling unloved and feeling abandoned and being left out and neglected. And this is why we are in this state on our planet. This is the core. This is the reason why we have all strife, all rape, all murder, all jealousy, all gluttony, all greed, all imbalance, all lack of generosity, all distrust. You can't trust anyone if you don't trust yourself. Trust comes from within. It takes maturity as in wisdom, as in love, self-love, love, knowing love. And I know some people who are religious who poo-poo this idea of self-love. It doesn't matter what you call it. And they're like, oh, all these people, and they poo-poo yoga and self-love and that whole movement, right? But it doesn't matter what you call it. We have to know love. They would call it knowing the love of their deity, right? They would call it, but that's self-love. That's love. That's knowing love. Right? You have to feel that love from within, born from within, from inside, from the source, from the stillness, from the eternal, from heaven, whatever you want to call it. You can call it from heaven. Heaven is the eternal. It is the timelessness. It is the changeless. It is the never coming and going. It always is. It's the love that never leaves. We leave it, but it never leaves us. But we leave it in our human state. We step aside from the unity consciousness, and we abandon love. We abandon loving consciousness. We abandon the source within, the source of love, love itself, because we are trained to do so. We are trained. We are mind controlled. We are hypnotized. We are brainwashed to step aside from love and not be loyal to love. And love doesn't require loyalty. Love, once you're in it, when you're in the column, when you're standing in the center of your being, you are love. Love is you. There's no loyalty required. There's no forgiveness required. There is no commitment required. There is no vow and obedience required. It is only when you begin to shimmer outside of that that you require those things, or they require, or people say you require those things. When you have stepped out and you're in a slave state, then you have to worship the oneness. It's fine to be devotional and devoted, and to be the ceremonial rituals of love, you know, brushing someone's hair that you care about, running a bath for your loved one, making a meal for those you love, your parents, your children, your spouse, your grandparents, your neighbors, your guests, strangers. And you have a meal and you honor them by preparing something beautiful, nourishing, gorgeous, tasty, luscious, simple, kind, graciousness, serving, beauty, a platter, a beautiful table set, a leaf with some bananas cut on it, you know, a beautiful placemat with the silverware set in a certain way, or a little coconut cup with some juice that you squeezed yourself and you picked the fruit, or just the fruit in your hands from the tree, offered from your hands to another's mouth, lips and tongue and eyes and nostrils, breathing in and inhaling the gorgeousness of the fragrance of that scrumptious, juicy, electric, living fruit substance, mouth-watering aliveness, flavor of majesty, simpleness from your hands to their lips, to their tongue, to their nostrils, to their eyes, to their skin, and the juice on their cheeks to nourish their skin, the vitamin C, as it runs down their cheeks and their chin and their neck. And you can kiss their neck and lick the juice from their sweet, soft flesh, spirit in a body, and just exquisiteness of love, of sensuality, of being in form. This is not something angels can experience. This is not something the divine can experience. Flesh, the sensations of a body, the beauty of existence in form, the trillions of neurons that we have in our body. This is miraculous. Miraculous that we can open our eyes and see lights and color, vibration and sound and smells and move and dance and sing and cry and wail and weep and sing again and celebrate and choose. We have infinite number of choices, selections that we make every millisecond. We are making endless numbers of selections, of choices, of what to focus on and what to hear, what to think and perceive about what we see and hear and feel and know. It's just like We have an array, just this vast array of sensations. And we literally choose what to focus on within the vastness and what to think about it all, what to remember about it all. Yeah? What do we remember? Oh my goodness. This in itself is a profound philosophical thing to ponder. Question. What do you remember? What do you remember? What do you remember? What do you remember now? What do you remember of this whole diatribe? This expression from my soul, my being, my uniqueness of this moment. What do you hear in all of these words? What electrical pulsations are stimulated in you? What visions are you having? What memories is it stirring from your past, your ancient origins, from beyond what you know now? What strings of the instrument of the heritage of your entire lineage is being struck by my vibrations, by my words, by my heart, my soul, my body, my spirit, my mind, my thoughts? What do you recall? What do you remember? What do you see of the now, of the past, of the future? What visions are you having? What does it trigger in you? What tomorrow do you choose to bring from today, from now, from this, from that, from us, from we, from me, from you, from they, them? What do you choose? What memories do you choose? What memories do you make? What memories are you making now? You see, you have an array to choose from. You have a smorgasbord. You have a cheese board to choose from. Which ones, what cracker and cheese and meats or veggies or do you choose to put on there and choose to consume and touch the lips of your being, the tongue of your soul, the taste buds of your spirit, to shimmer and quake and vibrate and sing or wail and scream and cry, or vibrate in ecstasy and orgasm over and over and over again. Breathing in and out. The inhale, the exhale of existence. What are you choosing? What are you celebrating? What heart string are you pulling and playing and harmonizing to and with and from and within and without and expressing? What joy? What joy do you celebrate? Are you celebrating joy? And honoring and respecting anything that isn't joy, and celebrating it all, honoring it all, listening, navigating the undulations of being human, of humanity, of your humanness, your unique dance, your unique expression, your unique path that you're making moment by moment by moment. Yes, this is you. This is your choice. You choose each moment, even when you don't think you're choosing. There's layers of consciousness, layers of your being, parts of your being, multiple parts, multiple personalities, aspects of your personalities. Every age that you've ever been is making decisions. And then there's the integrated being, the wholeness, making decisions from a state of wholeness, a state of integration, of healing, of healingness, as opposed to some past age making decision. The unrequited love of your 6-year-old, the unrequited love of your 1-year-old, the unrequited love of your 6-month-year-old, of the firstborn, when you're firstborn. If you didn't receive that love, if you didn't receive that nurturing, some people did, some people didn't at different times. There was trauma and neglect and injury. Could have been physical injury. Could have been many babies are dropped at birth. I'm laughing. It's horrific. Hospitals are scary places to give birth. The last place to go, in my opinion. Home birth with a home birth midwife who has tremendous experience, and a doula. Hospitals are not your friend, generally, in my opinion. Good for some things, broken bones here and there, but they are literally designed to segregate, to split, to disassociate you and your baby and the father, your family, from each other, in order to create a split personality, a dissociated new being on the earth, and then you can control them. You can't control people who are fully embodied love. I'm giving you all the secrets. You can only control people who are fragmented, disassociated, and have trauma, and aren't connected and integrated and healed. And you keep that trauma going. You keep feeding the trauma bond. And you keep people, what is the word, clamoring to get above, to rise above the trauma, to find solid ground. And you keep pulling the rug out from under them. You keep pulling away the solid ground in all the different ways that they do. Myriad, endless ways. Just like now, keeping the fear going, keeping the struggle going, keeping the survival just on the edge. And the lack of family, the lack of security, the lack of family, the lack of love, the lack of trust. And keep the fear going from all the propaganda, from the television, all movies, all cartoons, the system, taxation. You can't even stay in your home. Taxes rise, inflation. All of these things are to keep you out of the center of your being, where all existence is born. The source is inside of you. They want to keep you away from that. They want to keep you disconnected from the rapture of your sexuality, the union of love, just love, pure love in itself, within your own being, and the relationship with nature, and the sun, and the earth, and the flowers, and the trees, and the birds, and the bees, and the butterflies, and the ants, and the spiders, and the food, the taste of pure food, enlivened, natural. They want to keep you away from all of that. They want you hating bugs. You're watching cartoons and movies that program you to fear insects. Many people have phobias, and many of those people are MK Ultra'd to fear things. That's another story. You can look it up. Another podcast on that. And so, and then to separate us from ourselves, from our own spirit, to keep us unstable and away, and bringing us to belong in religions, to bait us with that sense of fellowship, that sense of seeming spirituality, that sense of belonging and family and community and togetherness and group identity and group support. And then they twist it. They twist it. They lure you in. It's called the bait and switch, to put it simply. They switch the story, and then they turn on the code, the coding, the programming to hate yourself, to think that you're a sinner, that you're original sinner, and you can never be free unless you devote yourself and fall at the feet, powerless, and in obedience to them. And then they label it something that seems divine, but it isn't. The divine doesn't require worshiping. It doesn't require worshiping. It's inside of you. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's not that it doesn't take effort, and it's almost like a non-work. It's really a deprogramming and a letting go and a surrendering and all of that is for a different talk. You can read about it in my books, The Eternal Rose, Lullaby of Love for All Ages, and Search for the Beloved book, and then all my CDs all help to carry you and to remember that vibration inside of you, that liberated heart. The liberated heart, not a religion. You don't need a religion. We need fellowship and community, and it's beautiful to come together. It's like you go to a concert and it's a spiritual experience. But when you're listening to people yell and scream and loud instruments that are metallic and electronic, and they're at the wrong hertz, and they're saying all these words that are programming, and there's subliminal messages in all recordings, all music, no matter whether it's some religion, Christian, whatever, it doesn't matter. Country, pop, rap, jazz, all of it is filled with subliminals because these people own the editing suites. So they put that in there. So make your own music. Get a pot and pan out. Get your spoons out. Get your own drum. Use your hands, your clapping, your thighs, your heart, your body, your heartbeat, the tones of your voice. Whatever calls to you. Get a gourd. Get a wooden box, a metal tin, and put a string on it. Get 2 rocks and, make a rattle and put some little seeds in it. Shake it. Do that with your children. Make your own songs. Why are we listening to other people's songs? Why are we reading other people's words all the time? There are beautiful words, but be careful what you read and what you listen to. I love my things I create is not for brainwashing and mind control. It's to liberate you, but you have to decide that for yourself. But what I do is not to control, it's to free and to liberate. It's from my liberated heart and my soul. It's not part of the cabal that makes all of these things in order to ensnare you. The music industry, the movie industry, Saturday Night Live, the cartoons children watch, all of these things, the dolls that you buy in the store, the Netflix, the Amazons, the subscriptions, the iTunes, the Spotifys. Why are you giving your money to these people? Because you're feeding yourself. You want the frenzied self, the ungrounded self wants stimulation because you feel lost, disconnected. You want to feel inspiration. You want to feel something. And you may want to suppress other things. You don't want to feel alone. You don't want to feel disconnected. You feel an affinity with other people who watch the Game of Thrones, of these violent programs, the violent symphony music, that beautiful music that I went to was the score, Final Fantasy, for a very violent 35-year anniversary of Final Fantasy, the video game. I wasn't going to go, but something, I thought the music would be beautiful, and I almost canceled it because I didn't want to support that. And it's very interesting who the conductor was. His last name is Roth, Arnie Roth. And the production other assistant, also, I assume a brother, also a Roth. That means red in German. And there's another syllable to that name. These people and the soloist sang words about suffering and brainwashing people into just about death and just despair. There's nothing inspirational. It's using this music to bait people with this love affair. And the girl I talked to at the stage when I was asking about an instrument, a beautiful instrument that I heard, that I was like, I think that's this beautiful instrument, this sleigh bell. And I was like, is that a sleigh bell? And there was only one person on the stage, and I was like, oh my gosh, do you have any idea? And he knew. He was actually a percussionist, and he was the production manager. Beautiful man. And he told me where to go to get a high quality sleigh bell. I've always loved sleigh bells. And of the whole concert, I really was struck by that sleigh bell. But at the end, they had this soloist, what's her name? Carol Calloway. And she sang, she was wearing all red, and the words were just, I think, horrific and depressing. And they were all reinforcing suffering. And then I actually told him that, and there was a young woman standing next to me who came up to talk to him, to say something. I don't know what she ended up asking him, if she asked him anything. But she was standing next to me when I was telling him this, that I think he maybe asked me how I liked it, or I'm not sure. And I said, well, it's very beautiful, the musicianship, but the hypnosis of, and they showed the video of the early Pac-Man-like characters from 35 years ago, all the way up to the fancy cartoon characters, and the emo, and the hair, and all of the people are like teenagers with faces like children, like 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, very childlike. It kind of reminded me of my own face, because I'm very sort of, have that kind of funny, I call it a funny face, kind of like a fairy-like face. And, but there's cartoons, and then, they're all these beautiful bodies and revealing sexual shapes, and yet they're holding giant swords and giant guns and bigger guns, and they're not facing any problems. They're just throwing these weapons, these fire and bullets and machines. They're fighting machines, and they become machine-like themselves. And yet they have these beautiful, attractive, youthful faces and bodies. And anyway, she kept saying, oh, you've got to know the story. It's a beautiful story. And I'm like, yeah, that's your bait, to be hypnotized and to be mind controlled and to be programmed, to be MK-Ultra'd. Is this bait of this love story, of this epic, fight for your freedom. But they're programming you to be defeated. And that's what the words were that I heard and that you can read. And for this epic, famous aria by the original woman who sings on the soundtrack was present to sing here at the Nashville Symphony. This aria, whose words were utterly uninspiring. And the only word I can remember is suffering. We suffer and we die. It's like, what? No. I mean, of course, there is that. But there was nothing redeeming. There was nothing inspirational. There was nothing. It is literally programming people. And when you look around in the audience, just looking around, it's a very different energy, faces, coloration. People, everyone there, everyone that I talked to, they're all dedicated to this video game for, who knows, their lifetime. since they were little children. There were, you know, men with white in their beards, 35 years of video games. And they're just pale gray skin. And a you know, a preponderance of non-healthy bodies. But, you know, sitting and do it. Why not instead of do video games, you want to be heroic? We used to learn martial arts. We used to use our bodies. Why not that? You want to love Japanese Asian culture. Learn martial arts. Learn Aikido. Learn Tai Chi, Qigong. Learn karate. Learn the science of meditation. That's the real thing, but they don't want you doing that. They don't want you to be a real warrior. They don't want you to have real skills. They don't want you to be an integrated, empowered soul connected to your spirit, your soul, your mind, your heart, and your body. All those states connected and healthy and integrated and accessed as a whole being, connected to your parts, your personality, the ages of your growth as a being, as a body, from conception till now. They don't want you. They want you fragmented. They want you living as a child and wounded and fantasizing about this world that isn't real in this final fantasy. Why is it final? The final fantasy, that in itself is insane. Creation is eternal. The source of life is eternal. It's never ending. It's not final. So they're programming you on from the get-go. From the title, it tells you everything. And the second word, fantasy, it's telling you everything. It's not real. The final dream. They want to end your life. And if you knew what I knew, you would respect what I'm saying in case you don't. Like, oh, she's going too far. If you're fighting and balking and resisting what I'm saying, if you're going, you know, if you're not and you're getting it, you already understand, or in some part of your soul, or you may know some of the things that I know. But if you understand who the architects, I don't like to call them architects because they're not. They're machinators. They like to think of themselves as architects, but they're not. They're destroyers. They don't know how to create. They're plagiarists. They're thieves. They steal other people's inspiration. They listen to your phone calls, and they create the dialogue for movies and songs and sitcoms out of the phone calls that you have in the intimacy and privacy of your world. They're listening to those. I guarantee you, and I know it for a fact. And they use millions and billions. They can listen to any random phone call and tap into that person who's a great source of drama, of intrigue, of depth, of beauty, and tap into what is the zeitgeist of the human species, of this country, of this city, of this state, of this era. And they use it. They're thieves, masters of deception. I don't know they're not masters. They're just deceivers. And they're human. It is a spirit of deception, and they're in pain and agony. And they refuse at all costs to feel their agony. And so they feed off of creating more agony. Because they don't want to feel love. That's what they're most afraid of. So they're endeavoring to destroy love on the earth. This is their goal. Destroy women, destroy relationships, destroy you, destroy the relationship of you with yourself, with the divine, with the breath that you have, with your health, with food, destroy food, water, air. You can look up the company in You can literally look up, what is it, weathercontrol.com, weathermodification.com, is it? I'll post it. It'll take me a minute, but I'll post it on my Substack, DiasporaOfLove.com. So that you can literally hire and attribute your airplane as well, donate your airplane or get your airplane certified to be a cloud seeder, to alter weather. You want good weather for a wedding, for this or that, and you hire them and they'll give you the chemicals. You think all of this rain that we're having in Nashville and lack of sun, is this normal? You think anything that's happening is not controlled and manipulated for a specific reason. It is controlled. It is all controlled to control us, to try to control our infinite spirit. So the solution, the antidote to everything, is connect with your infinite soul, your spirit, source. Just keep doing that. That's the source. And that's why I sing the way I do. And sometimes, you know, I'm a different person than I was a long time ago. I am, for lack of a better word, I'm more human, more landed. I don't know if I'm as pure and as inspirational. And, you know, when I'm holding a cell phone like I was in the you know, my mind is a bit divided because I'm holding that, right? And so I can't be completely free to completely let go and be the most pure vessel of that consciousness and of that presence and that purity and that oneness, because I'm holding that phone and my mind is slightly divided, thinking about, is it the right angle? Am I even catching myself? Is the volume too loud and is it going to be distorted? So my mind is a sound engineer while I'm holding the phone. And that is not the ideal for me to be the purest vessel. But I don't espouse to be perfect or even the purest vessel all the time. And so I let it be, because life is a blend of our humanity, a blend of our ego conscious awareness. It isn't necessarily bad ego, but just the real just ego is just self-awareness as an individual. And so it's balancing that. And so, you know, it's most beautiful when we just sort of forget ourselves and just be that pure instrument, and we just, you know, become that fragrance of the flower and just release. And so my other recordings on my website, SarahLenaLove.com, which I'm also known on my CDs as Sarah West, Sarah with an H, SarahWest, and then the Eternal Rose book has the name Sarah West Love, 3 words. The book, The Search for the Beloved, has Sarah West's name on it. So I go by Sarah Lena Love now, which I've talked about before. There's a lot of Sarah West out there, so there's a number of reasons why I evolved my name, which is, you know, something anyone could do, and my soul, my spirit I used to change my name when I was little all the time. So it's a beautiful name that was given to me at different stages, and so I embrace it and celebrate it, and I love it. It makes me happy. And so SarahLenaLove.com, or Sarah Lena doesn't have an H, because I prefer the way it looks without the H, but Sarah has an H. So Sarah with an H, West.com, or Sarah Lena Love, SarahLinaWe. Oh, Sarah Lena Love, not West. SarahLinaLove.com. Sarah Lena, SarahLinaLove.com. or SarahWest.com, SarahWest.com. So anyway, the link should be below and in my Substack and in the below of this video, hopefully. So find those. I would be honored for you to support my work by purchasing my CDs from my website. Don't go to iTunes or anywhere else. There are other Sarah Wests out there, and there are people selling my music illegally. So, and iTunes doesn't even give you, it gives you pennies, if a penny. So just go right, and I'm not on Spotify really. So yeah, so I'd be delighted if you support the artist directly and me. And I have beautiful, I think 8 CDs on there, including the audio MP3 of The Search for the Beloved, which is beautiful. So my battery's going down. So go there and enjoy and just luxuriate in your spirit. Take a bath and play my music. Play my music when you're going to sleep or meditating or laying down or getting a massage, or maybe when you're weeping, or maybe when you're numb and you can't feel anything and you don't know what's going on, or maybe when you're happy and gleeful and you want to dance and move and sway and crawl. And children and infants and toddlers and daycare centers and schools love my CDs and my MP3s. So, and please purchase them. Please honor and share the link with your friends, and invite people to share, pass on these things that I said about purchasing only from my website, and really invite people to honor and not share the MP3s and to purchase them directly. So that I'm wanting to create a retreat center and an education center and a library for an educational environment and a village to help bring this to the world, and to just amplify beauty and knowledge and bring people and teachers from all over the world, and bring students and have people of all ages to give and receive and celebrate and to grow and to build community from this inner place of truth and integration and healing and wholeness and understanding of the psyche of this thing we call life, of this thing we call humanity, and this thing that we call humanness, this thing we call me and you and we and them and they and us and I. So thank you for listening. Please comment below and let me know what you enjoy and your thoughts, your perceptions, your questions. And please dialogue with each other and with me, and I'm happy to respond to anything that you share and ask, or it really helps and it inspires me. People's comments really inspire me, because then I know I'm doing this to share. You know, if I wanted to just be in my own little vortex, I wouldn't make these recordings and these videos. So I really like the dialogue. I really invite it and enjoy it, and it makes me want to keep doing more. So and then I get to know what you like, and I love that. So all my